Hello, this is Professor Jones, and this is a brief video to get you acclimated to the Canvas website for the Chemistry 117 course. I recognize that many of you may not have worked with Canvas in the past, and I have a lot of information available for you here on the Canvas website. And so I just want to introduce you to the main parts and how you can find things. And then after you watch this video, I would encourage you to click around and start to become familiar with the information that's available for you. So this is the Chem 117 course website in Canvas. You can get to it by clicking on the link for this course in your My ASU page. And it brings you to the page that you're looking at right now, which is the home site, the landing site for Chem 117. On this landing page, this home page, the menu is on the left-hand side. You can always get back to the home page at the home link. There's a link for announcements. I'll put regular updates in here. Please note those announcements are going to go out to your ASU email. So you're definitely going to want to check your ASU email regularly. The next link is to modules. That's where all the bulk of the content goes in a Canvas site, and we'll look at that in more detail in a few minutes. The next link is to MyLab and Mastering. If you've read the syllabus already, you know that's the platform we're using for our homework. This link will, without an additional sign-on, take you directly to your homework account. Similarly, the assignments link can take you directly to a particular assignment in MyLab once you connect to your Mastering Chemistry account. And then the last link is to your grades. I just want to note that I don't calculate your grades here in Canvas, but you can find your scores on any particular assignment here in Canvas, so that if you're wondering what your score on something is, this is a good place to look for it, but don't use this to determine what your grade is in the class. On the right side of this page, you see a couple of other things that are quite useful to you. There's a running list of to-dos, things that are coming up. There's also a link to the course calendar. If you don't want to use the Canvas calendar, I understand that, but I have programmed in all of the assignment deadlines for the entire semester into this calendar, so that if you do use some kind of electronic calendar for keeping yourself organized, I would highly recommend that you download the calendar notifications from the Canvas calendar and put them into your electronic calendar, because then you'll have all of the deadlines. So for example, you can see here on the right hand side, I've already got all the class meetings for the next several days. I've got the first homework assignment due next Friday, the second homework assignment due, etc., etc. Here on the welcome page, you'll also find the video that you're watching right now, as well as other helpful videos, the one about the class, the one about the syllabus, and there'll soon be one about how to work in the homework site. And then below those videos is a collection of frequently asked questions. These are things that people tend to write to me about and that you need answers to immediately, that have general interest, so you find them right here on the front page. If we now go and take a look at modules, within the modules page, the top module is what I call syllabus and useful information. This is all information related to course policies, things that you're going to want to know in terms of how the class works and what you need to do. So I've got individual pages explaining different aspects of the course. For example, this first page shows you who's involved in the class, who are the instructors, who are the TAs. There's also a link to the syllabus that you can download and use that as you go through the syllabus video and as you have any questions about the class. At the bottom, there's also some tips about how to communicate with us. Canvas is a very linear system, so at the bottom of any particular page, you can always use the next button, and that just takes you to the next page in the way that I've organized them. The next page that I've organized for you is what I call my current course topics schedule. This is totally subject to change as we catch up or slow down. It's a list of what I anticipate covering each day in class. And there's more information about this in the syllabus video. If you're not interested in the next or the previous buttons, Canvas is set up to be linear, but it doesn't have to be. You can always go back through the modules page to find whatever it is that you're looking for. So if you're looking for data in this syllabus folder, you can now say, I'm interested in reading about exams next, and you don't have to go through the next and such buttons. So here on the exams page, you'll find information that's generally useful to you with regard to how to address concerns or questions about exams. So later on in the semester, there'll be practice exams, there'll be exam keys, those kinds of things will all go up on this form. I do have a formal process. If you think that your exam has been graded incorrectly, that's outlined here. The exam dates are all here so that you can go ahead and put them in your calendar. Information about how to study or other questions you might have, all the FAQs are right here on this page. Similarly, I have a page about homework. As I said here, and as it says in the syllabus, all of the homework will be through the Mastering Chemistry website that you do need to register for as soon as possible. This page outlines exactly how it'll be graded. So for example, it tells you that you get 3 attempts per question. You lose points if you open a hint in the question. But as I mentioned in my syllabus video, you can earn up to 50% of the homework points even after the homework deadline. So until the last day of class, you can continue to earn, sorry about that notification. You can continue to earn points for every single homework assignment. There's also FAQs on all of my introductory pages in the helpful information. There's always FAQs explaining what you need to do. So please read through all of this information. Make sure you understand how your grade is going to be determined. So for example, it is always to your advantage to start the homework assignments often, so that if you have questions, rather than getting the answer wrong or just putting something randomly in and using all the points, you can simply come in and talk with someone during office hours. The next page is actually about quizzes. And after the quizzes are over, I will be placing quiz keys here. Remember, there are no homework keys because you can continue to work on the homework until the last day of class, but I will put quiz keys up to give you something to check whether or not your work is right and to use to study for exams. There's also a description of policies and FAQs, just like there is for the homework section. This next page is actually an explanation of how to get help in mastering chemistry. So you can download this PDF file here to learn how to register, the information about how much you'll need to pay, where you can go to get help for mastering chemistry if you're having a technical problem, and then other tips you might want to know as you're working in mastering chemistry. Let's go back through the modules link now. The next helpful piece of information that I have for you, as I mentioned on the front page, you can get your grades on any individual score in this course from the grades link in Canvas, but I don't actually use Canvas to calculate grades. So instead, I've created for you a grades spreadsheet, which you can find here in your syllabus information. You can download that and you enter your scores for any assignment as well as what you think you might score in the future, and it'll calculate for you a letter grade down here in the bottom right. So there's explanation on how to use it here and in the file. Whenever you want to know what your grade is to date and what you might possibly earn, you should definitely go through this grade spreadsheet. In addition to this Canvas site, I've also set up a Slack workspace. Some of you may not be familiar with working with Slack, so I've given you a little bit of information about Slack and some links to learn more about it. It's basically a discussion board that we can use for communicating with each other outside of class. So I've disabled all the discussion boards here in Canvas. Some of your faculty may want to have discussions in Canvas, but I find it really clunky and not useful. Slack is more like social media, and so you can put an app on your phone or an app on your desktop and just get notifications regularly, and it's a lot smoother to communicate with people. So that if you want to get help from your colleagues on something you're stuck on, I would highly recommend that you use the Slack workspace associated with this class. I do use clickers as well, and we'll talk about that in class, and you'll get one in class, but you don't have to buy one, so don't worry about that. The last thing I wanted you to know is, in addition to the office hours for the TAs associated with this class, the School of Molecular Sciences does run a Chemistry Learning Resources Center with tutors available all the time to help you with your chemistry. So the information about how to find it and what times it's open is always here so that you can go in and get help with any questions that you have about this class. So that's the first so-called module in this course. The second module is what I call Exam 1 materials, and then as we progress through the course, I'll add new modules, Exam 2, 3, 4 materials. So if we open up this module here, what you'll see is it has 4 parts. It has a page called Lectures. This is where I put the notes for all the classes that we have. I'll show you that in a minute. The second page is what I call vocabulary. I find it useful when I'm studying to make sure I'm familiar with the vocabulary, so I make a vocabulary list for you. This 4th page is what I call Chemists You Should Know. We'll talk about that more in class. And the last page is a so-called extras. So this is other material that you might find useful that isn't essential for the class. So the most important page here is what we call lectures. And in that page, you will always find the notes that we're going to use in class. And I'll talk more about the structure of the notes when we get to class. But this is really important to you because if you miss a class, you can always come back and find out what happened by looking in this lectures part. The next page, as I said, is just a vocabulary page. Right now, this is just doing us vocabulary for week 1. The 3rd is chemists you should know. I'll explain that in class. And then this last page is extras. So things that I think might be useful to you. As you may know, the World Wide Web is full of information, some of it right and much of it wrong. And so I've included on this website as we go along videos of other people explaining concepts that we're looking at in class. Because sometimes students find it helpful to hear someone else explain a concept in a different way. It might make sense if someone else explains it to you differently than the way I do. So you'll find information like that or resources. So the so-called stoichiometry roadmap is a file that some people find helpful in solving homework problems. Things like that are all in here so that you can look for extra information that you know I have vetted as being accurate. Okay. The other modules that we have in the course right now, there's another link associated with recitations. That's empty right now, but your recitation activities will be there in there once recitations start to happen. And the final module that I have up there right now is honors contracts. For those of you who are interested in doing an honors contract in this class, please read through what that is and how you register for it. The next link here on the left is MyLab and Mastering. I'll just click on that right now. If you have not yet registered in Mastering Chemistry, you can go to Open MyLab and Mastering through that link and it will connect you up to the registration site so that you can directly register. It'll automatically upload the information associated with your ASU account so that you'll be able to do everything by a single sign-on. As I mentioned, there's also this assignments page. It tells you everything that's coming up in the class. So the first assignments are all due a week from Friday, so on the 30th of August. Please note that every assignment in this class is due at 4:59 p.m., not midnight. Assignments are always due at 4:59 p.m., not midnight. So you'll see here, there's an Introduction to Mastering Chemistry assignment. That is the first assignment that you should do. And once you're registered in Mastering Chemistry, if you go to this assignments page at any time, click on one of these assignments, it'll actually link up to the actual assignment in Mastering Chemistry, and you can just do it from here. Finally, the last page that you can get to from Canvas is your grades. I just want to mention one more time, it's going to show you scores here, but the totals are completely irrelevant because I don't use any of these categories. I don't weight anything in here. I do not calculate your grades in this program. So please only use this for the individual scores. Don't look at the total. Don't use that to determine your letter grade in this class because it's not relevant. Okay, so let me just remind you one more time that one of the most important things you can get out of this website, if nothing else, is the course calendar. It shows you everything that's happening in this class for the entire semester. So if you don't do anything else with this website, please go ahead, download that calendar stream, and mark those dates in your calendar, especially the exam dates, so that you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching.